Knight is not the one to play. No, I'm Kano in Mortal Kombat, cause the lyrics like blades. Aim it at your juggler when I'm on stage. Until you heard me spit, homie, you ain't heard rage. On another chapter, so turn a turn. Ah! Okay, got that out my system. Everybody on another planet, dog, you must have missed them. When I do it, how I do it's of my own volition. Go make my destination even in the worst condition. My crew's the Blues Brothers, cause you know we on a mission. Eternity of roses I make bumping in your system. I mean, banging it, and I'm still hanging it. And I got a gang of wisdom, I got a gang of rhythms, I got a lot of soul. I found the pot of gold, I'm wrapping that shit up, gon' sell it to the globe. I got some game to give them, they don't really want, but they really need it. And I want you to succeed, I want you to be free, I want you to remove every obstacle from being what you truly wanna be. I truly wanna see, and I can only lead by example. So here's a sample from me, so get up.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
2 touchdowns a game?
Yes, in the game. You're tripping. How are you high? No,
It is
high
Super Bowl time.
I don't know what we're doing in the front office, man.
Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia. That's what she said.
Fuck. Upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches in the
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode 182. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown. And our special first half guest this week, we've got Frank Lee Orange. What's going on, Frank? Thanks for joining us. Yes, Frank, for those who are not aware, has a very, very good sports TikTok. He's a big Arizona sports fan. Frank, would you like to tell the people at home kind of what your TikTok is about and the videos that you make? for you, man. Yeah. That is probably something that can be fixed. Uh, it's a bit odd though, because I could have sworn I just heard you guys. Um, hold on one moment, please. Just changing something. Oh, you guys are in for a real treat. Um, well,
We're all insiders now.
That's good stuff. Ugh, so help me if Boston doesn't beat OKC.
Oh man. How about
Worst.
OKC though?
people at home can hear you guys, but I cannot. This is fun.
Yeah, you just saw that in the comment section. We just try to start over.
Wait, hold on. I think I fixed it. Somebody talk.
Okay. I'm
What's
talking.
up?
Okay,
Always talk.
we're good now.
Are we good?
Yes.
Sweet.
Um, Frank, would you mind introducing yourself one more time?
Oh yeah, not a problem, guys. So my name is Frankie, Frankly Orange on TikTok. I'm all about Arizona sports, all about my family, and I like to create, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of, ad lip sync videos, just the little things to keep people going. I'm all about mental health and just supporting my teams and, living life every day with my little guy and my family. So
Yes, and if you want to follow him, his TikTok is linked down in the description below. Yeah, besides that, you already know the other three of us idiots. We do this every week, so. Yes, you guys want to open up with the cheers. I am empty-handed this week, completely
Wow.
empty-handed.
Well, I can double up for the rest of us. So
hey, I got something.
there we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Empty-handed. Didn't know North Carolina was a dry state.
There's nothing here. So,
What?
yeah,
Uh,
plan ahead of time, but it is what it is. Anyway,
okay.
let's get started. Let's just jump right into our first topic of the week, which is we're going to do a little game of quarterback jump or slump. We did this last year, probably around the same time of the year. But I picked 7 different quarterbacks who are some veterans and then there's some younger quarterbacks in here. But basically, we're going to go through each one of these and decide whether we think that these quarterbacks are going to take a step forward or a step backward in this upcoming season. So we're going to start off with Anthony Richardson of the Colts. He's entering his sophomore season. Frank, since you are the guest on the show, we will start off with you first. Is he making a jump or a slump this 2024 season?
Honestly, I think, especially since they brought in Joe Flacco to be his, backup, give him more of that, veteran mentorship role, I think he's going to take a step forward. With their draft, they definitely need to add some more pieces around him, but with Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, I think he's got a good chance to do something really special this year.
Okay, Nestor?
Yeah, I think he's gonna take a step forward. I feel like he has all the physical attributes to play well, and I think he's shown little sparks of it. So I think he's gonna take a step forward. I just worry about the organization and how they are. But I think definitely a step forward this season.
Mahlon?
I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he played in 4 games last year, and I think he only finished 2 of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I think he had like a concussion at one point, and then he hurt the knee. I love the attributes. In fact, I would have been happy if Seattle would have drafted him last year. If they'd have gone back in the first round, traded out of 5. And if they would have ended up with Anthony Richardson, I would have been really happy about that. He has a rocket arm, great speed. He kind of looks like Cam Newton out there a little bit, so you got to worry about longevity, of course, after missing 2 games. But only finishing 2 games, we don't really have a sample size of what his floor is on whether or not he's going to go up or down. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns and 1 interception last year. Wasn't quite 60% completion percentage, but he did not play with Taylor last year because Taylor was out, right? Taylor was holding out in the first part of that game, so it was Zach Moss, I think, was the running back. So I kind of felt like this is going to be his rookie year now. The only difference is he has an entire year of, if he studied, which he should have, if it wasn't all just rehab, but if he was learning the NFL game while he was out, it could be very beneficial to him. So I have high hopes for him, but at the same time, he plays for Indianapolis, and all they do is fuck up QBs. So they broke Peyton's neck. They ruined, Andrew Luck's will to play the game. George Minshew wants to be a Raider now. So I don't really. It's not a good look. So Irsay's probably running out of coke to sniff off a stripper's ass. I don't know, man. But let's hope he does good.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that he takes a jump as well. He definitely gives Cam Newton vibes for sure. But like you said, Mahlon, this is like his actual rookie season, and with Joe Flacco being there in the locker room, I think that will be a very, very good veteran presence for him to learn from. So. Seems like he would be stepping in the right direction, so I'd say jump.
How dumb were the Browns not signing Flacco back?
That was.
They thought Winston would be better, apparently.
Yeah, you go crab legs Winston out here trying to chomp W's.
Winston, that's a quarterback.
Right there. I think he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions because he wants sometime in 20 years to get his own 30 for 30. Show with the ESPN. I think he did it on purpose.
All right, let's go to speaking of Deshaun Watson, number 2. Frank, is Deshaun Watson jumping or slumping?
This is honestly a really tough one because, I mean, we all know what Deshaun Watson does bring to the table when he's, 100% mentally and physically. But so far in Cleveland, we really haven't seen anything that warrants the money he was given, and he's just not the same Deshaun Watson. So until he shows me that he can step up and use the weapons that he has, I'm honestly gonna just probably say he's gonna take a little step back. Because also you don't know how Nick Chubb's gonna be coming back, and
Yeah. Nestor?
Yeah, I'm not really confident in what he can do. I just see him as very inconsistent. So I think he's just gonna continue from here on out, taking steps back. I think we're gonna really see inconsistency from him. So yeah.
Mahlon?
I mean, I kind of feel like the only people that know what Deshaun Watson brings to a table are masseuses when he's laying on one. He is not. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback. What, 3 years ago? Almost 4. I mean,
just like pushing 4 or 5.
11-5. Yeah, like it was a while ago. But he was like the 4th best QB in the AFC at that time. Nick Chubb coming off that really bad injury last year. If he starts, I will be amazed if he starts this season. He's probably going to be on the list. I know that they got Jerry Jeudy. I know that. But there might as well be a graveyard outside of Cleveland where wide receivers go to die, man. Odell Beckham, Landry. Now you got Judy. I know there's more. I know there's more wide receivers out there. They go to Cleveland, you never hear from them again. That's just their MO. Even Kellen Winslow's son was the tight end for the Browns, and you never heard of him again because he did stupid shit. So, I mean, I don't think they'll ever have a passing game. Call it the Bernie Kosar curse. I don't know. But he's going to downtrend. We'll see Flacco at some point. We'll see that 2012 playoff Flacco game coming out there. Wait, no, we won't, because he's on another team now. He's in Indianapolis. We'll see Jameis Winston throwing picks to the other team, and we'll see the Dog Pan lose their mind at some point. That's one hell of a quarterback room, man.
Right.
You got
Half off crab legs in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you got crab legs, Jameis, and massage table Winston. I mean, that's one. I want to know what the stories are like in that QB room. Jesus.
I still really do like Deshaun Watson. Not as much as probably some other people like him or have liked him in the past, but I'm going to say that he actually takes a jump forward this season, only because it doesn't take too much for him to jump forward. Because so far since he's been a Brown, he really hasn't done much of anything. And I feel like if he can just play a full season, or even if it's just 75% of a season, of just solid football, that will be an improvement over his so far career as a Brown. And there were some flashes when he was healthy for that 2-game stretch last season where it was like, okay, he can still, it's still in him to be the Deshaun Watson that we knew from years prior, but I think he'll have a solid year.
Do you think he wants to play a full season, though? Because didn't he hold himself out of games last year when the medical staff...
Some weirdness on his injury.
I mean, we're talking about the guy that 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions with a 42.9 QBR. That's wild to me. I never would have thought that would... And I don't think that Jerry Jeudy is necessarily going to be the answer. Russell Wilson couldn't even get him the ball, and he's a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson right now. I don't know. I'm just not even sure he wants to play the game, but I think he's going to go through the motions because he has that $230 million guaranteed contract.
That's true. All right, let's get to number 3 here, which is Jordan Love. Frank, is Jordan Love jumping forward or slumping backwards?
Honestly, I thought, last year I was definitely going into the season as Jordan Love's biggest non-believers because I didn't think that he was honestly going to be the guy that Green Bay was going to have going forward, but he definitely showed a lot last year. He definitely had some big games. he showed, he is capable of being a franchise quarterback. He did have a couple games where, made you think it's like, well, maybe let's keep reevaluating him. But what he did, especially towards the end of the year, I think he's going to stay, he's either going to stay at that same level or he's just going to keep moving on up. Especially with, with what LaFleur can do with an offense. It's going to be definitely strange seeing Josh Jacobs behind center in the backfield. But honestly, that's just going to even be all the better for Jordan Love.
Nestor.
Yeah, I love the weapons he has just because he has a lot of young wide receivers available, and they seem to have a lot of heart. Like guys like Romeo Dubs, can't stop saying praise about those guys because they have they really want to play. And he was great for my fantasy team last season. So, not in the end, but well, whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, guys like Wiggs, they have a good tight end. I forgot his name. But they've done a really good job of reconstructing the team, and I think that team is only going to get better. And I feel like Josh Jacobs is going to give him is only going to make the team a bit better. So yeah, I feel like Jordan Love is going to take steps forward. That team has huge upside. So yeah, that's where I think they're headed.
Mahlon?
I'm a little bit pissed off, Jalen. I think he's going to have an up year. That pisses me off. How does a team in Green Bay, Wisconsin, have a franchise quarterback since 1993, have not fallen off one time, and now they have this son of a bitch that could potentially get him to 40 years of franchise quarterbacks. He had 32 touchdowns last year and over 4,000 yards. I think it took till Russell Wilson's 4th year in the league to get over 30 touchdown passes and 4,000 yards passing. Now you bring in Josh Jacobs. They got Kraft and Musgrave at tight end. I think Reed and Dubs are great.
Musgrave.
Watson's good. That offense with LaFleur, it makes sense why they drafted him. You see it now.
Like you said, that
what?
That longevity at the quarterback position they've had has been insane. I think the Cardinals have had like 40 quarterbacks between that time period.
It pisses me off that they had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and now you saw him like the first 5 or 6 games last year. We were like, okay, a little mediocre, like he's average, and he went on to tear the second half of the year.
Absolutely.
He was putting up dimes on people, and I was like, I love you're pissing me off. You need to calm the fuck down. Like, we're sick and tired of Green Bay and frozen tundra and all this Lambeau shit. All these self-entitled fans, like they're the birthplace of football or something. And here we go. Here we go. With the potential of another decade of this, Jalen. Even the Patriots run ended after 20 years. You had one quarterback. One. You had one. They're going on their 3rd now. It's cute. I went from Russell Wilson to Geno Smith. So they can kind of go F themselves. But he also brings the running dynamic, though, to it, man. Who was the 3rd leading rusher at almost 300 yards rushing. He had 4 touchdowns and 4 big runs, which was, I think, 25 or more yards per run. So he has that escapability, too. And he was only sacked 30 times. So I think he's going to have a good year. I think that offense is primed. I think that Detroit's... the fans, they're thinking that all of a sudden Detroit's going to run this division for a while. They're going to have a lot more competition than they really thought they would.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
So yes, he's going to go.
You would think that Detroit, after 100 years, would finally be able to say they control something, but it doesn't.
They can't even figure out their water situation, Jalen. They don't deserve it.
Hey, now I live up here.
That's true. I forgot about that. My bad. Hope you don't live near Flint. Yeah.
No, a couple hours away. It's not.
There you go.
He's got his water's just fine. Um, yeah, this was out of all these names, I think this is the easiest one for me to pick. That's definite jump. The whole Packer team should be better this year, and they had a great year last year. So it is wild though.
Oh yeah,
Because
those
the Packers have
the young bucks are only going to get better and better.
right. All those dudes that they just brought in, they're just going to improve that much more anyway. And yeah, for literally as long as I've been alive, the Packers have always had Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and it's wild that he could potentially keep that trend alive.
I just want to point out, Jalen, did Celtics beat OKC by 35 points.
There we go.
That clinches the best record in basketball. Okay, all of basketball. Home playoff throughout, and just want to let everybody in Boston know that I think Oklahoma City's plane is going to be in the tarmac for about another 3 hours. If anybody wants to go cut a hydraulic hose or something. So
Still a little raw.
I meant what I had. I meant what I said about the hatred. Runs deep.
That trailer for that video drops tomorrow, folks. So you'll get a sneak preview.
Nice.
All right, number 4, Jalen Hurts. Frank, is Jalen Hurts jumping forward or falling back?
Well, I mean, the way the Eagles season started and the way it ended, it just depends on which Jalen Hurts you see. The one, if it's the one at the end, it's definitely going to be a nosedive. But if it's the one that started the year and everything was going good and they were, beating people, I think he probably won't be any higher than he's been, but he'll at least stay level. But with whatever's going on in the locker room, I think potentially with the whole AJ Brown situation, and then of course you have Kelsey's retirement, you have multiple other situations. You just never know, and I don't think, especially with somebody else behind center, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for him.
Nestor?
Yeah, they finished the season with just a huge question mark, and it's still lingering over them. So it's hard really to pinpoint if he's going to take steps forward or backwards. I mean, I don't know. I would say I'm not expecting him to improve really. Just stay there about the same. Honestly, it's going to be more of a pain for him, the team around him, at this point.
Not an option, Nestor. Forward or
Backwards.
back.
He's not going to improve. He's going to go backwards. Steps back.
There we go. Man.
I think this is actually, if Jordan Love was the easiest, I think this one's the toughest. Because you have some, the way they started the year last year, the way they ended the year last year. You have, Kelsey retiring, so he's gonna have his ass up, and he's gonna have his hands up someone else's ass this year for the first time. So what's the tush push gonna be like, right? But you still got Devontae Smith, you still got AJ Brown. Now you got Saquon Barkley. Can he stay healthy? I think that's going to be the determining factor on whether or not he goes up or down. And if they decide not to abandon the run, I think a Jalen Hurts running option and Saquon Barkley could be really dangerous. I think that could really help him. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. Not that I like Philly, but I'm going to predict a healthy Saquon Barkley. It doesn't want to get cut and lose some of that $37.5 million he signed for. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a better year than what he had last year, but not as good as the year he had the year before. So it will be better than last year. I don't think they're going to go ripping off, like 6 out of 7 losses. Bro.
Yeah, I'm also going to say jump, but very hesitantly, because like Frank mentioned, he can be, kind of Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll kind of deal because it was a tale of two quarterbacks last year. So with Saquon Barkley, though, that is a really nice security blanket for him. And I think overall he'll be probably slightly better than he was last year. But I could really see him having a pretty similar year to last year. Like when you average everything out, it would not surprise me if he's just slightly better. So technically a jump. But hey, Philly fans don't seem to be worried. They think that they're set because they were not happy with my take on them when they got Saquon Barkley. So apparently they're fine. So I guess it's just us. But anyway, let's move on to number 5, Daniel Jones. Frank, what's Daniel Jones doing?
Oh man, well, I'll be honest, like this is probably the easiest one for me. I think he's gonna regress because, as mentioned in the previous quarterback, he lost his main guy. He's not gonna have a security blanket Saquon Barkley anymore. And they have a revolving door at wide receiver. They don't really, pretty sure what, Slayton was the best receiver that they had on the Giants. And then, honestly, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I have a feeling Daniel Jones is going to get benched before the end of the year.
Would not surprise me either. Nestor.
I think he's gonna improve. I think he might have a shot at MVP this season. I'm just kidding. No, he's gonna. I think he's gonna regress. I agree. He probably won't be the starter for the Giants after a few games. I don't see how a guy that one of the talking points for him, one of the conversations they were having was, well, he's not throwing as many picks as he was before. That should be, a huge red flag. So, yeah, he's going to regress.
I was going to say his biggest attribute is his legs.
Go ahead, Mahlon.
I don't like this pick, Jalen. The easy thing is to say he's going to have a down year. Because Vanilla Vic just is not... He's not an NFL quality starter, right? Like I think we can all agree on that. He had 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in 5 games last year. The only thing, like, what do we quantify as going up or down? Like, is he going to play more than 5 games? If he plays in 8 or 9 games, but he has marginally better stats than what he did last year, is that an up year for him? I think it is. And he completed damn near 70% of his passes last year, which is surprising because he threw 6 interceptions to 2 touchdowns. But I do think that the Giants are going to draft a quarterback. I do know that they met with Michael Penix in Seattle after his pro day. I hope to God that they don't draft Michael Penix. I want him to go to a good team. But I agree that he's probably not going to finish the year, but he probably plays half the year, which will probably get him better stats than the 5 games he played in last year. So I'm going to say he's going to have just a smidgen of an up year. He's not going to keep his job. Just a smidgen better than 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions from last year.
Just say all you can go is up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty bad.
I'm using the same logic. He really only has room for improvement here. Kind of similar to Deshaun Watson in the same reasoning that I chose him to jump. But like Frank said, it would not surprise me one bit if he gets benched at some point during the season because he just does not seem to be it. And it doesn't help that the Giants are completely devoid of any kind of talent on offense, and they got rid of their best player. So,
Well, let me ask you guys this question real quick. They're paying him $40.5 million a year, right? If they draft a quarterback in the first round, do they have the balls to start that rookie quarterback ahead of Daniel Jones if he outplays him in the offseason and the preseason? And if they do have the balls, do you think that rookie quarterback beats out Daniel Jones and starts week 1? Do you think a rookie quarterback could outbeat Daniel Jones week 1?
I
Knowing that he makes $40.5 million.
I can't see week 1, but by Thanksgiving, yes.
I agree.
I definitely think that is very plausible, especially if they break the decibel record for boos once Jones throws his 11th pick in 3 games.
And I would love for a team that's that bad to actually get the Guinness Book of World Record in their stadium to set that bitch.
I'm surprised we haven't
The
done it.
loudest boos. That would be the reason why the Cardinals don't have the loudest boos is because their stadium is halfway filled with the away team fans anyway. So that is I hate to break it to
That's why Bidwell took away the end zone.
yes. Oh man, God, I want to see. What team would that be? Oh, that'd be so good if a team would do that. God. Oh, that'd be great.
Number 6, Russell Wilson. Frank?
Honestly, I think Russell Wilson, yeah, he could have done better. He kind of, the way he came in Denver was interesting, but he's definitely not the scapegoat, nor nearly as bad as everybody thought he was or how he played. I think some fresh air in Pittsburgh, great situation, fresh start. He's going in being the guy, and especially I want to see what Mike Tomlin can do with him. This is a great pickup for Mike Tomlin, and then you also have Justin Fields behind him, so you could potentially use both of those guys, in the same game if you wanted to. That's how dynamic, especially with Fields, that they can be. But I just think it's a great opportunity for him to, get a fresh start. I think he's honestly going to have a much better year because he's not thinking about everything that, is behind him in Denver. So I'm going up on Russ.
Nestor?
You're muted, buddy. Yeah, you're still muted, Nestor. You should unmute yourself.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I don't see. There was screaming in the background, so I don't see Justin Fields, starting for Pittsburgh because Russ is not, playing well. I don't see any of that scenario. So I do see him filling in sometimes so that Russ can rest or whatever. But I think Russ is gonna have a good year. I think the Steelers are gonna have a good year. I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people. And I don't think they have a super impressive roster, but I don't think they really need it. And we saw some of that this year. So, yeah, Russ is going up.
I think this is a very interesting year for Russell Wilson. His career is at a crossroads. He went from being a top 5 quarterback in the NFL in Seattle, playing for 10 years, to deciding that he thought the pastures were going to be greener on the other side. He goes to Denver. Nathaniel Hackett kind of showed us what kind of a play caller he was. Sean Payton, I don't know. I still think, say what you want. He had Drew Brees and Russell Wilson. He loved Drew Brees. He hated Russell Wilson. I'm not going to call the man a racist, but I'm just saying that he was a dick to Russ last year, and that's a lot coming from me. That he was an absolute dick towards Russ. Blamed him for even his own shortcomings as a coach. Russell Wilson didn't give up 70 points to do up Miami's offense last year. But when he went to the post-game press conference, he called out Russ. And I was like, really? What sense does that make? So he did have 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions last year. He completed almost 67% of his passes. But his QBR was only 50. So even though he had good stats, he wasn't efficient when he needed to be efficient. And that's kind of why the QBR is a little bit of a better grade for me with how good a quarterback is because they take into consideration when you're good and when you're not. They quantify garbage time points a little bit less than when they do when you're supposed to be. And I remember there were a ton of games in the beginning of the season, whenever he would get into the red zone, he would just fumble, sack, try to scramble. He's lost his legs a little bit, throw an interception in the end zone. Like, he was not incredibly efficient inside the red zone last year. But now you come to Pittsburgh. Just the epitome of 500 football. I don't think Mike Tomlin's actually playing for a Super Bowl anymore. I just think he wants to keep this record alive of not having a losing season. But he has two very motivating factors. The Steelers are only paying him $1.2 million. They could bench his ass if he's not playing well. They don't have a lot of money tied to him. Denver's paying all that money. So if he has a couple bad games, Justin Fields, they could give him a shot and see what he has. Because they don't have any financial ties. It's not like the ownership is being like, we're paying this guy $42.5 million. You better play the guy. So that's incentive one. Incentive two is that he's playing for his next team. He's not going to sign a long-term deal in Pittsburgh unless he balls out and they go to the AFC Championship game or something. When I say his career's at a crossroads, he's putting tape out there to show another team that I'm still that guy. Pay me $40 million a year. That's a hell of a lot of incentive. He could make another $200-some million on one more contract if he has a really good year. And incentive number three is that for the first time since his rookie year in Seattle, he has competition behind him. So, Seattle had signed Matt Flynn to, I think, $15 million a year, which was big money back in 2012, people. That was big money. Matt Flynn had just come off of that year where he threw for 6 touchdowns against Detroit. The last game of the season, he was the best free agent quarterback out there. Seattle signed him to a 3-year deal, $15 million a year. They draft Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. He beats Matt Flynn out, wins the starting job week 1. He hasn't had competition going into training camp since then. I was going into, I think, his 13th year. 13th year. So he's got somebody behind him that can play the game. Played it about as efficiently as he did last year. Not that great, even though Russ ended up with better numbers. So I think when you put the incentives financially and you put the competitive nature that he has, as corny as he is, he's one of the most competitive people that I've ever seen on a football field. He really wants to win. And you put that he has competition behind him, I think he's going to have a better year. And I think you're going to see him on another team next year. He really does want to play till he's 45 years old. So he's going to do whatever he can to try to reclaim who he was and extend that career.
Yeah, I also think he'll take a jump forward. Now that he's in a situation where he's actually being supported and not kind of worked against, it just seems inevitable. I mean, if Kenny Pickett get this team to the playoffs, he's obviously a better quarterback than Pickett was. Justin Fields, it would be really interesting if Tomlin decides to use him almost like the Saints use Taysom Hill in a way, where he just kind of comes in for different gadget situations. So I don't think that we'll just see Justin Fields in case Russ gets injured. I do think that he'll have a more practical use case. So. But with that being said, I think Russell Wilson will have a jump forward next year. So, yeah. And last but not least, Kyler Murray. Frank.
Ooh. My guy.
Been there for you.
Honestly, I think we've finally put a movable offensive line around him. We brought in Jonah Williams to pair with Paris Johnson. Brought in some great solid depth, guys that are going to put us in probably the best position we've been with an offensive line in a very long time. And then what's really going to be interesting is to see if we end up with Marvin Harrison Jr., which honestly, I don't know why they wouldn't go with him, but whoever they get, whoever they give him help with through the draft, I think they're going to get a couple good receivers to set him up nicely, and Kyler Murray's going to have a big year. And call me crazy, but Cardinals are going to sneak into the wild card.
Um, yeah, I don't. I think the Cardinals are gonna move away. I think they already did that this last season, but they're gonna move away from what people think they are. When they think of previous seasons, I think Kyler Murray's gonna improve. He ended the season on a good note. He's gotten a lot healthier. We're seeing what we used to from him again. So I think he's going to improve. I think there's some solid, roster around him. So yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see a very improved Arizona Cardinals team. So yeah.
Okay. Hear me out. I think Kyler Murray's going to have a down year. But let me explain why. I already see you up there in the top left, Arizona. I already see you. I got a hot take for you. I have a hypothesis, something that I think is going to happen. So hear me out on this. Okay? Cardinals with the number 4 pick Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay? And I think they are going to use their number 27 first round pick, Kyler Murray, the first round pick next year probably, trade back up into the top 10 and grab themselves another quarterback. I don't even think Kyler Murray is going to be on the roster next year. I think that Arizona is going to get out of that contract. Okay? The GM and head coach did not draft him.
Absolutely.
They have no ties to him. And you're looking in the top 10. Okay? The Chargers are picking number 5. The Tennessee Titans are picking number 7. The Bears are picking number 9. The Jets are picking number 10. There's 4 teams that aren't going to draft a quarterback in the first round right there. They could package that 27 pick that they have with Kyler Murray and maybe another pick and get back into the top 10 to get another quarterback. And then they end up with Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the draft, and they get an A grade. That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to happen because they're in my division. But I think it's going to happen because I do not think this organization is sold on him anymore because the front office that drafted him, the coaching staff that got him, the head coach that came in there to coach him, they're not there anymore. And they're starting over. So when you're starting over, why not start over with the franchise quarterback that you can get for 5 years under a rookie deal instead of paying this guy like $40 million? Like, aren't they paying him like $40 million a year? Something crazy.
I think it's
$40 million a year.
honestly closer to 50.
Yeah, like it's high. It's high. And this front office didn't draft him. I think they're gonna move him. I think he's gonna go. Like even the Giants are dumb enough to not draft a quarterback and trade for Kyler Murray. They're dumb enough to do it if they can move off Daniel Jones's contract. So I mean, like the Titans don't need I feel like, and maybe he goes to another team. Maybe it's a three-way trade. But I think that Arizona is sneakily in the hunt for a quarterback in the top 10, and they have 2 first-round picks. So they can get themselves a wide receiver with that first pick, and they can move back up and pick up another quarterback. So I think they're going to. So I don't think Kyler Murray is going to have an up year because I think he's going to be on another roster. I don't know what roster that's going to be. But I don't know he's going to be on the team.
Stay tuned, apparently.
And if I'm right, Jalen, you better make a video about this shit. If this happens...
This will be a video before this event. This, regardless, this will be a video.
I'm just saying. I just have a feeling it's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be very my take was that he takes a jump forward just because he left off on a high note last season, and the Cardinals have improved a bit. And I don't know, like he just came back from his injury and seemed like he was taking the game a bit more seriously. Maybe he got all his Call of Duty out while he was sidelined for that majority of the year, so he was a bit more focused. Yeah, so just assuming that he picks up from where he left off, he should take a jump forward next year. But what you were saying, Mahlon, seemed very compelling. What did you think, Frank? Are you open to that idea?
Honestly, depending on who it is, I'm definitely intrigued. But I mean, I look at the end of the day, no matter what happens, whether Kyler Murray's around, behind center, or we get somebody like JJ McCarthy or Bo Nix, I'm rolling with Arizona. So I'll just be here for the ride.
And I figure after pick 5, JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix are all still going to be available. Now, do I want Michael Penix to go to Arizona? Absolutely not, because I'm sick and tired of my Huskies going to division rivals. Buda Baker, I love Buda Baker when he was a Husky. I have to hate him because he's a Cardinal now. So I don't want to see it happen, but I could definitely. I just have a feeling it's going to happen. And what we need to
I
do
would
this.
love Penix.
You what?
I would love to have Penix.
Penix is God. He is. I think he's the best. I think Caleb Williams is misunderstood. I think he's like your first official Gen Z quarterback coming out of the draft. It's just a little bit different.
Yeah, remember that video?
And most people that love the NFL, they don't understand why he's painting his nails or putting insignias on him or wearing dresses for, magazines and stuff. I don't know, but Chicago's gonna fuck him up regardless. But Penix, man, he had the best vertical of any quarterback. He ran a 4.5 40 at his pro day. He has the best arm coming out of college, I think, of anybody. Bo Nix is a better dual threat quarterback. I think he's more Josh Allen, but more accurate and a better arm coming out of college. Any one of those would be great. JJ McCarthy scares me a little bit because Jim Harbaugh keeps saying he's the best quarterback he ever coached. Yet he never utilized him at Michigan. That makes me a little bit nervous. He only had 2 300-yard games, I think, in the last 2 years. So that makes me a little bit nervous. But I just see it happening. I see it. And what we need to do, Jalen, is we need to go back through the tape and go back through who went up or down on these quarterbacks. And when we do this next year, we can see if we were right or wrong. We can see if we're all full of shit or if we actually know what we're talking about with these quarterbacks going up or down. Because I have no idea who we picked last year or if they were up or down. Probably a good thing, but
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I'm sure we had Russell Wilson on there, and I probably picked a down year for him, but he had a better year. That sucks.
All right, well, that's another year of that down. So let's get into community comments before we go to break. This is where we respond to your comments from the past week. Let's start off with the video or the clip from last episode where we talked about the NFL's new kickoff rule. And this is from YouTube. John Webster says, moving the kickoff forward in the NFL all but removes any chance of runbacks. Devin Hester will be pissed. Robbie Pierce says, sounds stupid to me. Good comment. And then some Get the Bag Nelly says, Nixon from the Packers is going to go crazy this year. Spoken like a true Packers fan. I don't even know who that is.
Apparently, he's probably the kickoff returner.
Right. All right, next video, which is...
Oh, can I say one thing about this, Jalen?
Yeah.
Is that I was reading up on those. I was reading up on these rules. Okay. If you kick it out of the back in the end zone, they start at the 30 now, not the 25.
Yes.
So now you don't really have an incentive to kick it out of the end zone. And if you kick it between the 1 and the 20, you have to return it. You can't fair catch it. So I think it's going to create more kickoff returns. What I think is going to happen is that you're not going to have these smaller, speedy guys returning kicks anymore, because you're going to have the blocking happening like 15 yards ahead of them, right? But they can't move until the ball is touched, which is crazy, I think, right? I think they can't move until the ball is touched. So you're going to have chaos at the 30-yard line or 35-yard line. Like, because they're running 5 yards into this line. It's going to be madness. I'm here for it.
It's like opening the pit.
Yeah. Scoring is going to be up because I think the average starting possession is going to be north of the 30. Or probably like 75, like 80%. So do you want a smaller, shifty runner? It's just all speed? Or do you want someone built more like a running back that's used to running between tackles and seeing blocks? Like, I think it's going to be really interesting what they do. But I think that kickoff returns are going to be a lot more exciting yet safer. And I don't think you're going to see people just booting it out of the back of the end zone and giving people the ball at the 30. That just seems... You only got to go 70 yards. What are we doing?
The next video was Mahlon's encounter on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It got worse.
And from TikTok, our very own Frank said people on Marketplace are wild. Look out for people who take something for free and turn around and sell it. People flipping your own free stuff is pretty funny, I'm not going to lie.
Didn't even think about that. That pisses me off even more. I didn't even have time to try to make money off of it, though, man. I just needed it gone.
I live across the street from a hotel, and I see people do that shit all the time.
What, are they flipping hotel furniture? That's fucking awesome. They're like, I got a dresser. Get that shit.
And then Seamus the Bulldog says, I was giving away a free treadmill. This guy wanted me to drive it an hour from my house to deliver it to him. Then the amount of people that wanted me to help them get it into their truck. Are you crazy? I'm not tearing my gooch trying to get a free treadmill into your vehicle.
You carry it. It's your treadmill.
Do we have any more comments? Because this Facebook Marketplace, man, is wild. I did it. Okay, so I put 2 more things on Facebook Marketplace since last week.
Oh, no.
I put a bed and a bed frame, white, barely ever been used. It's been in a guest bedroom for like 12 years. Okay, so it barely ever been slept with. People don't like me. They don't come to my house. So I advertised it as a queen. I'm sorry it actually ended up being a full, but I thought it was a queen. So this lady comes and picks it up. Now, first of all, within like 2 hours, I had another 400 messages. The amount of people that wanted me to drive it to them was fucking unreal. Okay. But this lady comes and picks it up. And she tells me while she's picking it up, man, this is going to save me. I've been sleeping on a couch for 3 years. So this is going to be really awesome. And then they messaged me the next day. And they're like, it's actually a full. It's not a queen. Can I return it? And I was like, bitch, you're sleeping on a couch, first of all. Second, no, you can't. Like, what? And then I posted like an entryway shoe organizer that has hooks for coats and stuff on it. It cost me like $450 off a Wayfair, I think it was a few years ago or whatever. The amount of people. I had someone in Orlando. And you drive it out to Orlando.
What?
Oh, man.
Brother, what?
Can you
I
ship
ended up
my address
with
tomorrow?
over 1,200 messages
Next day air.
to this thing
Next day.
by the next day. And someone finally came and picked it up, but the amount of people that were like, can you take it apart? Can you deliver it to me? The amount of people that are like, I'm a single mom, I really need this. And I'm like, it's just an entryway organizer. Like, come on. I had one guy thought that if he offered me $1 to save it for him, He's like, I'll give you $1 for it if you save it. I was like, what? So people on Facebook Marketplace, man, y'all are a different breed. If you're listening to this, be better. Be better. And if you're fighting over free shit on Facebook Marketplace in November, please don't vote for the next president. I don't think your vote matters. And I don't think it should count. So please don't. Just let the rest of America handle this. All right? If you're one of these people on Marketplace, y'all are wild.
That should be a requirement for your voter registration. Your Facebook Marketplace history gets checked.
God. Damn.
That's got to be your rating.
It just.
I'm sure there's stories out there that are crazy.
Right, we're probably just scratching.
Even after I marked it as sold, people are like, "Can I still come get it?" I don't have it.
Is this still available?
Ma'am, they, them, whatever you are. Jesus. There's a couple of them that look like dinosaurs, I swear to God. I was just like, good God. I was like, because anyone that messaged, I'm not going to lie. I was clicking on your profile to see what you look like if I wanted you to know where I lived. I was like, some of these people, I was like, oh, you're making meth right now while you're asking for this free fucking bed. You are not figuring out my address.
Okay, next video, which was DeJounte Murray beating the Celtics last week, where he just popped.
I don't know why you gotta bring this.
44, 45 points, something like that. But I made a video just questioning his celebration at the end of the game, as if the Hawks had just won a playoff game, and people were not agreeing with me. They were saying Pristine Exterior said they were just hype, bro. DJ 321 DJ said you're sad.
God damn.
Someone said you lost.
Ooh.
Shut up and deal with it. You get the point.
Hey, they're fighting for a play-in spot.
Yeah, playing spot. They're not. They're not. Okay, so here's the
Someone
conundrum.
also said, "Why are my pupils so big?" I've never gotten that one before, so thanks.
Why are they that interested in your eyes? I don't. It's kind of creepy. Now they did beat the Celtics 2 times in 4 days. I give them that. Okay, we never thought that would happen in a million years. And in fact, if you'd have picked that for the ride and die, we all would have lost that bet. Because we all would have picked the Celtics. There was no way they were going to lose to Atlanta again. But here we are after they do it. But I'm still going to say it. They're never going to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. He channeled his inner Patrick Beverley when the Timberwolves clinched a playoff spot. And Patrick Beverley, I think he stood on the scorer's table like Michael Jordan, like he won the NBA Finals,
yeah.
took his jersey off and threw it in the stands. Like, calm the hell down. Like, just stop it. But it was a good win for them. 2 in 4 days. If you beat the best team in the NBA 2 in 4 days, celebrate, yes. But let's control ourselves a little bit. Let's temper expectations for the Hawks. All those people that commented, they probably didn't even realize that the Atlanta Hawks still had a team. Probably didn't think Atlanta was there. Move them to Vancouver. What are we doing?
It's okay, I forgot we had a big 3.
I mean, Bradley, it's like 2.5.
Yeah.
2.5. Bradley Beal, he's a little bit less than what he used to be. I'll tell you what,
He's getting paid.
I don't know who number 11 is on Phoenix right now, but he has to be the blackest man I've ever seen in my life.
Ball.
Yeah. That man. He's just a giant shadow running down the court right now. Jesus Christ.
Dude, he's a beast.
He is. Lanky as shit, but they're up 32-18 over Cleveland, so they got that going.
Yeah, but wait for that fourth quarter. They've blown it all year.
Yeah, that's why they got Bradley Beal to blow the fourth quarter.
I feel like we're the first round of the Heat before they really started to go on that three-peat.
God, when was
Probably
the
worse
last
though.
time? When was the last time Devin Booker was considered one of the best players in the NBA? Like, what happened to that man?
Sometime last year.
Yeah.
I think Milwaukee stole his soul, but beat them in the final.
No, it's in Luka's hands like a cradle.
There you go. I love this guy.
Yeah, that will do it for the first half of this week's show. Frank, if you want to stick around for the second half, you're more than welcome to. But if not, like I mentioned earlier, his TikTok is down in the description below, so be sure to give him a follow. And
Appreciate it, guys. It has been fun. I do have work in the early morning, but next time I'm on, I'll definitely try to stay for the whole thing.
See you, man.
yeah,
Appreciate it, guys. Hopefully to be hope to be back.
right. So we're going to go to break, and then we will be back in about 10 minutes with G Money. We'll be right back.
Hey. Yeah. Hey. On my way to the boat like I ain't just have on a coat when I landed, outbranded. Perched at the edge of the branches. They don't wanna talk mansions, mine look like a campus. And I'm all about my brothers like the niggas I'm sampling. I'll leave you red shirted like the twins from Kansas. Really living my dreams I used to have in my aunt's crib.
That 2022-2023 Laker roster really was overperforming in the playoffs. The Lakers opted to keep Austin Reeves, but he has a fairly low ceiling. He's a solid guard, but not great. Hachimura is a solid two-way player, but again, not great. D'Lo comes and goes with the weather. The Gabe Vincent signing was an absolute disaster, and the rest of the guys like Hayes, Prince, Reddish, kinda Jags, which leaves us with the two stars, LeBron and Anthony Davis. LeBron is approaching 40, and it's abundantly clear that he cannot and should not be expected to carry an NBA team anymore. And AD has quietly been having a great season, but he isn't carrying the team. The Lakers messed up by trading for just solid players instead of stars. And then they did go out and sign a star, and it was Russell Westbrook.
Great thing he's just coming off an ACL injury. I think it's going to be a great season for him and Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be very fit.
His rookie year, he missed about 6 or 7 games. And then from about 2018 to 2021, he played almost all starts. 2022, he missed about a month. And then last year, he only played about a month.
If you can keep him healthy, there's not a lot of wear and tear on the body.
Whoever thought about building this Jets team was a genius.
I think it's going to be about a 36-14 game. Tampa didn't play good last week.
I'm going to say it's probably going to be like a 32-17, 18 game.
It's going to be close. Depends. It's not going to rain anymore. So I'm going to go with we're going to win by 10.
I'll be honest. I think a lot of Eagles fans are nervous right now. I think it's going to be a close game. This is the Julio Jones night. This is the night where we find out what Julio Jones has left in the tank.
You're basically saying Devontae Smith ain't shit.
You know who's going to score tonight? Turn around. That's who's going to score. Yeah.
I think it's going to be 21-24 Bucks. Jalen doesn't have A.J. Brown. He's going to throw the ball to Devontae, but...
Bucks going to win it 27-23. Baker's going to drive at the last minute, score a touchdown, take the lead, win the game.
All right, so he still thinks Baker plays at Oklahoma. Go ahead.
24-21 Birds, and I only think we win by 3 because AJ's out, Devontae's hurt, Jalen's hurt. We run the football, we win by 3. we go destroy the Lions when AJ comes back. 28-17, Eagles all
Did
day.
you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
He won the chip.
Right. You want to see what his trophy
He
looks
whooped my
like.
ass.
Yeah, let's
Look
see.
at the unwrapped. Look at this bad boy.
That's tight.
Feel like we got some.
Very nice. A couple of bad drafts, but you know, the waiver wire.
Yeah, man.
You were
He was
clutch.
on it. Yeah. You
Like
think
thank
you-
Taylor for being friends without him. Let's go for the repeat.
We do a sports podcast. Okay. And I can't help but notice that somebody is wearing an inside-out neck jersey.
You know what? It's just a coincidence.
Explain what is happening right now.
Forecast was for rain. I didn't want the rain to fall on the outside.
That's all it is?
Because I love Dak. He's the best quarterback in the league. Big Mike's the best coach ever. Dallas's D is awesome. Yesterday was just unlucky. We'd won the coin toss. It was a Cowboys win. It was all about the coin toss.
Let's talk defense. You're wearing the Cardinals hat. You don't get a say. Dan Quinn. I don't want him as my coach.
Oh, he's gonna be though.
I don't want him to be.
I heard a stat today. Green Bay has won more playoff games at AT&T Stadium than Dallas. Do you know if that's true?
It probably is.
I heard.
So you still love that?
No. Mike's gotta go. Big Mike's gotta go. Dan Quinn's gotta go. Jerry's gotta rip this shit up.
Who do you want to replace Dak then?
Don't say Russell Wilson.
I was gonna just ask you, would you trade Russell Wilson straight up for Dak?
No!
I wouldn't either now.
You went Browns to Bills?
No, I was a Buffalo fan and a Cleveland fan.
No.
They were in different leagues when I was
So, well, they were all in the AFC. Oh, okay. Fuck the Bucks! Awesome! Thank you! Fucking Eagles! Fuck you!
Hold on, ramparts we watch of the free. We celebrate Dr. Who's legacy.
I hate you so much. Alright, go with the sniper. There is so much man on man happening right now. Bird!
You're feeling good, man.
I ain't worried, man. I'm gonna tell him the truth. We not worried. We gonna score in this drive.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield for game. His name is Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
The nigga got 8.
Milwaukee beat the Thunder 118-93 yesterday. This was a bad look for the Thunder. Jesus. Look at some stats. Milwaukee really beat them up in the paint. The Bucks out-rebounded the Thunder by 20 rebounds. Giannis, Middleton, Lopez, they just said, we're bigger than y'all. We're just going to beat you up in the paint. Doesn't help that the Thunder just basically shot themselves out of this game. 10 for 43 on three-point shooting. That's 23.3%. That's terrible. At a certain point, when do you just say, stop shooting the ball? Milwaukee with 58 points in the paint. Thunder only 32. The Bucks simply just bigger. And the Thunder had an atrocious third quarter. There was a while there where they just could not score the ball at all in the second half, and the Bucks just took off. Giannis had 30 points, 19 rebounds. Middleton just snuck into a triple-double, 11, 10, and 10. Portis came off the bench, gave him 15 points. SGA had a bad game. Whatever, Thunder, this was a game for them to forget. I don't think it was anything serious. Bucks, good win for them. They were just bigger.
I have South Carolina coming out of Region 1. Region 2, I do have LSU. LSU is hitting on all strides of late. They didn't have a resume, get a 1 or a 2 seed because of their early struggles. Angel Reese was suspended for a while, but they've been playing great ball. Selfishly, I really want to see another South Carolina LSU matchup because of that brawl they had. I have USC in Region 3. USC has a freshman phenom that is averaging like over 32 points a game. They're really exciting. They won the Pac-12. Again, I got South Carolina, LSU, USC, and Texas.
Darvin Ham, sometimes it's like, what the hell are you doing? Oh, Hachimura, you got the hot hand. You're playing really, really well. Oh, come sit down. What? What are you doing? Sometimes he seems so strict to his rotation. He doesn't care who's hot, who's not.
It's like he doesn't have a feel for the game while the game's happening. Like whatever he thought he was going to do before the game started, he's going to stick to it.
Especially when they're playing the Golden State Warriors and have no business losing the game.
Darvin Ham should be a bench coach. That's where he's good at. He's not a head coach, but that's who you're stuck with.
Celtics just lost to the Hawks 120 to 118. Boston was up by over 30 points at one point in this game. First half, the game was over. Boston put up 74 points in the first half. 74 points in the first half, and they lost the game. They come on out in the second half, and they just did not want to play basketball at all in the third quarter. Then the fourth quarter comes around, and all of a sudden they want to try. It's like, hold on a minute. I think that if they score more of these baskets than we do, then we're going to lose. Like, yes, this is what frustrates me with my own team. We get so complacent. It's ridiculous. We're like a dude in a relationship that goes hard for the first however many months, and then after that, they just completely give up. They're treating to nice dates. They're doing stuff around the house. They're making little surprises, giving gifts. The girl gets her hopes up, and then it just kind of fizzles back down. And that's what the Celtics just keep doing. Still the best team in the league, but this is what concerns me. They get complacent fast.
Remember to follow the show on TikTok and Instagram at FA Sports. Now back to your favorite show on the internet with your hosts, Jaylon, Mahlon, Nestor, and G Money.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the second half of After the Review, episode 182. We've got G Money now. What's going on?
Elon, boys, man, it's going well. Can't say the same for my Mariners or my Kraken, but for me, it's going well.
There you go. A big shout, very big shout out to G Money, because if he did not tell us that the audio was screwed up within the first couple minutes, God knows how long we would have went on before that was correct. So thank you, sir.
Would have just been the Jalen show.
That could have been really bad.
They wouldn't have understood. They wouldn't have understood half of what was happening.
Yeah. If you guys want to take your second half cheers, we will do that now.
Good old bottle of North Carolina water you got there.
Yeah, this is good and gather, baby. Good Target water.
Oh shit.
Oh shit! Big money over here at Target water. Oh, Walmart water for that family.
That's right.
Hey, high end.
We're upscale.
Yes, here in North Carolina, where absolutely nothing ever happens.
Probably bought themselves an entertainment center and some new dishes when they bought that water. That's what people do when they go to Target. Go in there, $10, leave with $500.
Alright, let's get to the next topic of the week. We had some pretty big news that happened this afternoon, which was Stephon Diggs traded to the Texans in exchange for, I forget what the draft pick was.
A second round pick next year.
Second round, yeah.
But I think the Texans get a 5th round pick next year, don't they?
They get a 5th round and I think a 6th round pick this year.
Yeah, so it's weird. So they get a 2nd round next year, a 6th round this year, and a 5th round next year, and the Bills get a 2nd round in 2025. They don't even get a 2nd round pick this year.
And on top of that, the Bills get to eat $31 million in dead cap hit this year. the most money ever for a wide receiver. I'm like, how bad did you want to get rid of him? How bad that you're going to say, not only am I going to give you draft picks and take a draft pick for next year, but I'm going to take a $31 million dead cap hit. And by the way, I've got no wide receivers now because Gabe Davis left in free agency. So I got no wide receivers. That's how bad I wanted to get rid of Stephon Diggs, is that I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because we all kind of saw that coming. I feel like at some point last year we had said Stephon Diggs is not going to be back next year because he was already kind of complaining. But the fact that Gabe Davis already left and then this happened, they are kind of caught with their pants down now. So I don't know what they're going to do on offense.
And they have the 28th pick in the draft. So, like, are they going to take that pick in the second round they're getting next year and try to move up into the first round to get somebody? Free agency's already done. The wide receiver market, like, who are you going to get? Like, are you going to, like, did OBJ already sign somewhere?
No, he's still available.
Hey, maybe they're going to get OBJ. I think it's funny that Josh Allen was like, "Oh, he's my best friend.
Get in line.
We love each other. We're BFF." And I was like, "Okay, well, this is how 50% of marriages end in divorce, because somebody's always lying." But I think it's wild that they gave up so much just to get rid of. You know that Josh Allen had to sign off on this. Like, they're not getting rid of Stephon Diggs without him signing off on it. And I think one of two things is happening here. One, Stephon Diggs has now run himself out of two organizations. So how you think he's going to be all of a sudden better with the Texans? Nestor, you put up that one person saying that it's going to be a bust if they don't make the Super Bowl or something. I love how being a fan of an NFL team makes you also at the same time part of the top 1% most delusional people in the world, because right now all you're doing is trying to convince yourself how your team is going to the Super Bowl. Like right now, G Money and I are trying to hypothesize in our minds how Geno Smith, of all people, could lead us to the promised land. So everybody does it. God bless him. But he ran himself out of Minnesota because he wanted more money and he didn't like the touches that Adam Thielen was stealing from him, right? So now he goes to Buffalo. He's led the NFL in targets the last 2 years. What more do you want? What are you needing that you're not getting? Like, you're worse than Terrell Owens and Ocho Cinco at this point with your diva ass. Like, I don't understand. And so now you got a second year in CJ Stroud. Like, are you trying to fuck him up? Are you trying to mess with his mind? You really think that he's not going to be intimidated by Diggs a little bit in that locker room? Like, Diggs isn't going to try to run that show a little bit because he's a second year quarterback. So I hope that Stroud has some tough skin. But I think what Buffalo is banking on, and I think that this might be a little bit of a mistake. G-Money, I'd love to get your take on this. Is that when you have a great quarterback, it's never really mattered who your wide receiver was. You were always still great over the last 30 years, 20-some years. Look at Brett Favre. He did nothing but make people like Freeman and other people great, right? Aaron Rodgers made Jordy Nelson and everybody else great. What was the guy? James Jones is on FS1 because of quarterbacks that he had. Look at what Mahomes is doing without Tyreek Hill and nobody. Rice is out here causing accidents and might not even be available next year, but Mahomes is still going to be the best quarterback in the NFL. So you have a precedent. I mean, Peyton Manning made Reggie Wayne and all these other people great after Marvin Harrison, and he made Demaryius Thomas better than he ever was. If you're a great quarterback, you make the wide receivers better around you versus the wide receiver making you better. And so I think they're kind of banking on that. But at the same token, People forget that his first couple years in the NFL, Josh Allen wasn't great without Debo. It was a sub 60% completion percentage. He had a lot of raw talent. I kind of get the feeling that Josh Allen needs more talent at the wide receiver position than a Patrick Mahomes and other people. I don't know if I'm wrong on that. Maybe he's going to prove us wrong. Or like G Money said, he doesn't have anybody on the wide receiver core right now. Can you guys name a single person on the Bills wide receiver core right now? I can't. I don't know anybody off the top of my head.
The only person they have right now that was on the team last year is the tight end, Dalton, Kennard?
Yeah, and if you have to say it was that, then we're...
he's still there.
So they have... Ooh, okay, so listen, if this doesn't, as a Bills fan, give your heart on for the wide receiver position right now. You got Khalil Shakur. Don't know him. Curtis Samuel. I know the name, but I don't know a damn thing about him. Then you got Justin Shorter. But he's probably a midget. Andy Isabella. That's a great last name. Tyrell Shavers and Brian Thompson. Brian Thompson sounds like he should be running for Senate. You don't have Matt Collins and KJ Hamler. Like, they don't have wide receivers. They've got Shakira's bastard child and someone running for the Senate. Playing wide receiver for the Bills right now. I don't know who he's throwing the ball to. Kincaid is the only person. Dalton Kincaid at tight end. That's it. That's the only real... They better draft somebody.
And they should. And this is a deeper draft for wide receivers. So, maybe they're just thinking that they're going to get a wide receiver in the first round and go from there. But I think, Mahlon, you're right in that great quarterbacks can make average receivers look great. But I don't know if Josh Allen is a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. But I don't know if he's a great quarterback. And it is a gamble. But as we all said, Stephon Diggs last year won it out of Buffalo. Why? I don't know. My God, the man was targeted 160 times last year. What else do you want? Yeah, you didn't.
The next person to him was like 123. He had like 40 more targets than anybody else.
I'd have to look at the Bills last year to see how many targets Gabe Davis had, or Dalton Kennard, right? How many targets did they have? Because if you've got one diva wide receiver that wants all the targets, throw me the ball, because it doesn't matter that I'm double teamed, I can catch it. Doesn't matter that I'm triple teamed, I can catch it. No, not always can you catch it, because you were targeted 160 times, you caught the ball 103 times. That's 57 times you didn't catch the ball. And at some point, you have to look at yourself and go, am I the problem? Because you're with Minnesota. Minnesota had a great offensive team. You're with Buffalo. Neither one of the teams went to the Super Bowl. Now you're going to go to Houston, because Houston's the up-and-comer. And you think that you can run the offense. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't, you may think you are the top dog in the locker room, but it's not even up to the quarterback how many times you get targeted. That's the offensive coordinator and the coach. And they're not going to throw the ball to you 160 times.
Especially because you got Nico Collins, man, who's not a slouch.
Mm-hmm.
He just got out of his second year, 80 catches for 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Right.
Stephon Diggs is not getting 160 touches next year. So is he going to do the same thing? Is he going to get pissed off that Nico Collins is getting touches the same way he did with Adam Thielen? I think that wide receivers oversell their talent. There are some places, and I hate to say it, I'm sorry, Nestor, Miami. They need a Tyreek Hill and a Waddle because of Tua. Okay, they need it. But if Miami had a patch up Mahomes, do you think they'd be spending that money on a Tyreek Hill? No, they'd do what KC did and dump his ass and try to draft somebody else. So I think it's wild for Diggs. I think he's a diva. I think that he's going to burn too many bridges, and I think he could end up being, like the next Terrell Owens to just bounce around for a few years until you're out of the league. The best is probably behind him also. How old is Diggs now? He's old, man. Like,
He's got to be.
It was 2016. Was it 2017 that the Eagles won the Super Bowl?
30.
So we're 7 years removed or 6 years removed from the Minnesota Miracle when they beat the Saints. I mean, like, so it's not like he's a spring chicken.
Right.
So I don't know. I think there's a lot of question marks going into Texas. I don't know why they made this move. I don't think they needed to. And Buffalo, man, you already don't have a running back. Now you got nobody at wide receiver.
This is great for us, Jalen.
Damn.
I love this
wild the pressure they're putting on Josh Allen. I'll say that. It's wild. But how big of a headache does Diggs have to be for you to unload him the way that you did? So maybe it's addition by subtraction for Buffalo. But I think it's subtraction by addition for Houston.
Yeah, I think Houston thinks they're getting something that they're not. They're looking at someone who can coexist with Nico Collins, and that's not Stephon Diggs.
Oh.
I wish that kid Noah Brown would have kept playing good, because he kind of looked like he was racking up numbers, but then all of a sudden he just slumped. Because that could be a really other like good option for CJ Stroud, but he kind of fell off a little bit.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He did fall off. I mean, he had I think he only had 33 catches last year though. When I was just looking at the Collins thing. In fact, yeah, he only had 33 catches. Like the crazy thing is that so I can see why Texas did a little bit. I mean, Nico Collins had 80 receptions. Bell had 47, Schultz had 59, and Brown had 33. Robert Woods had 40 receptions. So they didn't really have a true number 2 last year. But now is Nico Collins, is he going to be happy being the number 2? Is Diggs going to be happy getting less targets? I mean, there's only so much times you throw the football. So, I don't know. It'll be weird.
Yeah, expectations are going to have to be kind of tempered a bit amongst the receivers there. All right, let's hit the last segment of the week, which is the Ride or Die in 5, where we give you the 5 best right now NBA picks for the next week. Last week we all went 3-2, one way or another. So that's good. The week prior was not good. So, hey, we'll all take a positive record. So, overall,
It's not tip.
I am 269 and 217 plus 52. Mahlon is 247 and 196. He's plus 51. G Money is 176 and 148. He's plus 28. And then Nestor is 151 and 125. He is plus 26. Let's start off with the first game. We have the Warriors at the Rockets tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. G Money, we will start with you.
We'll go Golden State. Didn't have a whole lot of time to look at these games today. It was a little crazy at work. But what I did see was Golden State has the same road record that Houston has at home, because Golden State can't win at home, obviously. But I'm like, yeah, I know Houston had won 10 in a row. Now they've lost 2 in a row, probably on a losing streak. Golden State, well, let's not kid ourselves. It's Steph Murray and 4 clowns. So, give me Steph Murray. Give me Steph.
I'm also taking the Warriors. The Rockets kind of had that hot streak there, and now have very much cooled off. And the Warriors are kind of heating up a bit in the right time. So yeah, and it's also really ironic that the Warriors could not win on the road last year, but now this year, that's all they can do is win on the road. So yeah, take the Warriors on the road. Nestor.
Yeah, Golden State. Yeah, the Rockets are cooling off, and Golden State's doing what they do towards the end of the season. So, give me Golden State.
I mean, you were only picking Golden State because Houston fucked you last week, and I thought that was kind of funny that you picked them. I'm gonna go Golden State. I'm gonna ride with 3-point Curry, aka Steph Murray, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick a Golden State on this one to win this bad boy.
All right. The next game, which I think is also on Thursday at 10 o'clock, we've got the Nuggets at the Clippers. I will go first on this one. I'm going to take the safe pick and go with the Nuggets. I mean, they've just been playing very good basketball the whole year. The Clippers have been very much a roller coaster ride this past month or so. Basically, the whole month of March, it was just, you didn't know what you were going to get. Probably something bad, though, because they were not very good. They're 500 in their last 10 games, so give me the Nuggets on the road. And I think we're all kind of tired of LA teams, so it's just that. Nestor, go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny. If we all pick Denver, the Clippers are gonna win. Give me Denver.
There we go.
Just
Mahlon.
All right, so God, this is. First of all, you picking 2 Thursday games. You're just wanting us to rack up these losses quicker than normal, Jalen.
Let's just get to the bottom of this.
Both teams are 3-2 in their last 5. Okay, I will say that. Oddly enough, Vegas is betting heavy on the Clippers right now. The tune is 61.4% to 38.6% Denver. Jalen, I gotta catch you by a game. I'm being strategic here. I'm either gonna catch you, or I'm gonna be down one. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Clippers on this one because they've both been about the same. And I'm going to go with the hot hand of the Clippers being healthy. The Joker has not necessarily been the Joker of old the last few games. He's had some issues. He Wembanyama blocked the shit out of him like a bunch. And yeah, they still won the game against the Spurs, but he just has not necessarily been as dominant as his racehorses have been. So I'm going to go ahead and go Clippers. I'm going to go on a dark horse on this one. I'm going to try to catch you, Jalen, because I need to make up some ground. But it's probably going to bite me in the ass. But I need to take a gamble if I'm going to catch you. You and I have been picking the same fucking teams most of the time. Because I think you're scared of me. I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to take the Clippers on this one. I'm going to see if I can't catch you.
I'd just like to add that I picked 2 different picks from everybody last week, and it resulted in the same thing anyway.
Yeah, but you made a dumbass decision picking Houston, so you should have been 2 up on me. I don't know why you did that.
We'll see this week, because you swore off LA teams, and now you're picking the Clippers.
Hey, this might be my dumbass pick, but I got to catch you somehow, because you and I, outside of last week, you and I have been picking the same for like 4 straight weeks.
Yeah.
like give or take like one game. So I gotta take a wild card here.
G Money.
So interesting that Mahlon would bring up 61% of the money in Vegas is on the Clippers because the Clippers are getting points. That's why the money's on them because they're getting points. If it had been Denver getting points, you would have seen a change in the money there.
Points.
Yeah, that's why 61% people are thinking, well, I get 3 points, okay, because I think Denver will win, but I think the Clippers can take those 3 points and make me a winner. So, but we're doing the money line. So give me Denver. Yeah.
Okay, but before you finish, does anyone really think it's going to be a 3-point game? Like, if Denver wins, it's going to be more than 3 points. So I'm just saying, that's all. It's not going to be that wild of a game. Go ahead, Juma.
No, I'm taking Denver. I am.
All right, Friday night at 7:30, the Kings at the Celtics. Nestor, we'll start with you.
The Kings are gonna lose. No, Celtics. Besides that weird thing with the Hawks, what happened there, but uh, they've been very consistent. There's nothing to tell me that. And the Kings, I know is this in Boston or is this? They sometimes get these weird
It's in
wins away,
Boston.
but not against a team like Boston. I'm sorry. So yeah, Boston for me.
Yeah, Boston. I hate the Kings just a little bit less than I hate OKC because the Kings should have relocated the Sonics back in like 2017, 2016. Didn't happen because David Stern's a bitch, and you'll hear about that on the next video that Jen's going to drop. We talk about the history of the Sonics. So I hate the Kings. And everything they stand for, they're stupid. Sacramento, when you call yourself the Kings of what? You're like the fifth best city in LA. Shut up. So I'm taking the Celtics. They're gonna whoop their ass. That's all that's gonna happen.
My only concern here with the Celtics is that they've already locked up the number one seed. So they're going to be like, do we need to play our starters at all?
We're going for history. I don't know what that history is, but we're going for history.
No, you're not. You're not beating the 2015 Warriors, and you're definitely not 2016, and you're definitely not beating the Bulls. So there's no history there.
We're keeping the foot on the gas, sir.
Let's hope. Let's hope that's true. Let's hope you guys are that Tatum and Brown come the third quarter. You guys are up by like 28 points.
Well, if
Don't
you
think,
hope that's
fuck,
true,
man.
are you going with the Celtics?
I'm taking the Celtics on this one.
Yeah, right.
I think.
Tried to pull a Nestor. Tried to make it compelling.
reason why people should take Sacramento and change the money line a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean,
they don't like winning. That's why they're taking Sacramento.
Yeah, I agree. Let me go ahead and sink this ship and agree. Give me the Celtics. Not gonna lie, G-Money kind of scared me a bit when you mentioned that. They can take their foot off the gas here and just rest everybody.
They're not going to start resting everybody. They need to keep them fresh for the playoffs. They might not play as many minutes.
Right.
But they're still going to play.
7 or 6 games left for them. I think 7, but
yeah.
So they should be playing the majority of the game, but yeah, I'll take Boston. Sunday at 6
He
o'clock.
gave us pause to pause for about 2 seconds,
Right, just something to think about.
which is better than Nestor's ever done when he tries to pull that shit.
Sunday at 6, the Pelicans at the Suns. Mahlon, you go first.
What is this one again?
Pelicans.
It's at Phoenix. It's in the Valley of the Sun.
Yeah. Well, Phoenix won tonight, didn't they? Yes.
They're winning.
Yeah, winning. It's halftime. This should win. The Pelicans. I don't trust the Pelicans. I really don't. But the last time I picked Phoenix, they kind of fucked me. But it's in Phoenix, right?
Yep.
All right, and Durant I trust because he still wears Sonics gear. That's the best I got, people. Don't trust me other than anything else because I know that when I look at it in the last 5, the Pelicans are 2-3 in their last 5, and Phoenix is 3-2 in their last 5. They did beat Denver after losing to OKC, which is why I hate them. No one cut the hydraulics on the plane that night. I'll take Phoenix. God damn this.
G Money.
Yeah, I'm taking Phoenix. They've had the toughest schedule since the All-Star break.
Good for them.
And I'm not sold on New Orleans, and I'm definitely not sold on Zion. I watched him the other night, and I'm like, how come you don't have like 15, 20 rebounds? Why? What are you doing? Do I need to put a poor boy up on the hoop? Do I need to do something like that to
want to put a shrimp hoagie up there?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. No, I'm taking Phoenix. I just can't buy into New Orleans.
So, oh man, I wish they would put a pull boy up there on the rim and see who can get it. Great.
I am going to take the Pels in this one.
Oh, this is where we even it out, Jalen.
Right.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Really, because I think it's kind of a toss-up to begin with, so why not? They're both 6-4 in their last 10, so give me the Pels on the road. And Mahlon did mention it earlier. The Suns have kind of burnt us all in the past, so I don't want to pick them anymore. Nestor.
I kind of feel like Jalen is being strategic like I am right now. He's trying to get himself a little bit of a cushion on this ride or die in 5. That's his wild card.
I'm gonna go with
What best decision do you have?
I'm gonna go with the Suns.
Shit.
Those are too inconsistent for me, so yeah.
Good job, Jalen. You won this one. Nestor is the new Shaq, if no one has understood this yet. He makes me nervous when he picks the same as me.
All right, last game we have the Celtics at the Bucks on Tuesday night.
Woo!
I have to pick this one because it is obviously a very good matchup. So Celtics are in here twice. G Money, who are you going with?
I'm going with the Celtics, and there are several reasons for that. One, I think Doc Rivers isn't a good coach. 2, Milwaukee's gone 1-4 in the last 5 games, 6-8 in the last 14. They're not trending upwards, and I think this will probably be the last game the Boston starters play any significant amount of minutes. And Milwaukee, in all honesty, Milwaukee has absolutely nothing to play for. They're in the playoffs. They can't move up any further than where they're at. And if they drop down a seed, I don't think it makes a lot of difference to them. And if it still holds true Damian Lillard may well be still out injured. He may not be back. So,
yeah.
and at this point, they may even if he's ready to play, they may rest him, and they may rest Giannis. Because why would you play both of them if you're going to be going into the playoffs 4 or 5 games? What is it? 2 games after that? 3 games, right? Because they'll play 3 more games after that. So why? If you're not fighting for first place in the East, which they definitely are not doing, why would I want to risk Giannis, who has a hamstring issue, and Dame Lillard, who's out injured right now? Why risk them for a game that means absolutely nothing?
I'll go and go next on this one, and I think this is Jim Money. You're stressing me out because you picked Boston the Sacramento game, but you were wondering if we were going to play our starters. But then you said this is the last game we're going to play our starters. But then you made the case for Milwaukee not playing their starters because they have nothing to play for. But if there's any team that doesn't have anything to play for, it's Boston because they already locked up the number 1 seed. There's so much to unpack with what you've said between these two champs. It stresses me out. You're playing mind games. You should be, I don't know, I kind of feel like G Money is waterboarding somebody in a bedroom someplace because he's a CIA spy. He's playing mind games. But I'm going to go with Boston just because no team has anything to play for on this game. None of them. But I'm only going to pick Boston because Boston's my team. And I'm not going to pick against my favorite team like some people I might know named Nestor or Shaq. So I'm going to go ahead and pick
I've been
Boston.
right.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
I was right.
You
I knew
picked Miami so many
today.
damn times.
I knew they were gonna not today. I knew they were gonna beat the
A
Knicks.
Heat culture, which is fucking hilarious.
Where we are right now, 6th place.
Christ. Yeah, they talk about culture. They haven't
Yeah.
won anything in over a fucking decade, but they have a culture. But go ahead.
This is where we turn it on.
Go ahead. Yeah. This is when you do. This is when you do. For 3 series, and then you still don't win anything. That's fine. Culture. Whatever. I'm taking Boston. I really hope they win.
Go ahead, Mr.
And Jalen, if you pick Milwaukee, you son of a bitch.
No, I'm picking Boston.
There you go. He's picking Boston. Nestor, tell us why Boston's going to win this game.
I think Milwaukee's gonna have a great game, but I think Boston's gonna win.
There you go. That was short to the point. That's the best Nestor move I've ever seen. Wonderful.
All right,
God, we're all going to lose this game. I have a feeling we're all going to lose this game. I feel like Milwaukee's actually going to win, and we're all going to take an L.
Milwaukee's in a perfect place to be fucked when it comes to like playoffs because that number 2 spot is like dangerous.
Yeah, you're in a
I'm just-
little bit of a weird spot.
Yeah, they might, but I feel like both teams are going to be resting. That's why when we're picking, like, if you're betting, first of all, America, if you're betting these games this late in the NBA season, like, get your shit together. Like, stop trying to pay rent with games, like 78 through 82. Like, calm the fuck down. It's all a crapshoot. You don't know who's playing, who's not. So if you need to pay rent, I suggest you get a job at this point. Don't be betting on this. It's a bad bet.
I will say,
Don't do it.
The Bucks, they better be careful because if they do mess around and they match up against Miami again in the first round, I'm
they'll
Miami to
lose.
win that series. I'm sorry.
Or they could match up against
Miami does not go one and done in the playoffs, man. I talked about this last week. They don't do this. Straight haired Jimmy doesn't fuck around in the playoffs, man. He doesn't do it.
Yeah, he's an ice cold killer at that point.
He will
I even
beat
think
the
both are
shit
coaching
out of
better in playoffs.
anybody they play in the first round. Guaranteed, Miami's going to the second round. They're going to the
It's like,
second round.
man,
Right.
it's
Like,
like, see these nails? Do you know how much they cost? Ain't no fucking way I'm going out in the first round.
Yeah. Which is why Caleb Williams is going to get drafted number 1 with the Bears because he needs to pay for his nails. But the Heat, you can book that. If you need to pay your rent in May, the Heat are advancing in the first round. That is going to happen if they make it.
All right. That'll do it for 182, folks. What a great episode. Shout out again to Frankly Orange for joining us in the first half. His TikTok is down in the description below. And once again, shout out to G Money for another week of coming on in the second half. With that being said, folks, thank you all for watching, listening. Be sure to follow us on social media at AFR Sports. It's right up there. And we will talk to you all next week for 183. So have a good week. Peace out.
Peace.